This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service. Glad you've joined us. This is the only show in the entire metro area that talks about construction, real estate development, business expansion, really fun and exciting things related to your favorite city, your favorite metro area, growing and becoming more vibrant, more prosperous. Thank you to Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics for making this show possible. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the introduction of my co-host, a legendary real estate deal maker and all-around well-informed real estate guy, Trenton Magid.
You are too kind, Mr. Beals. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Trenton Magid's in the house. I heard it was, I watched it on our YouTube video of Mayor Jean Stothert. She did a wonderful job as well, and we're proud to have her in this fair city.
Yeah, so you were out of town last week. You were in Lost Wages, weren't you?
Yeah, Las Vegas. I was just making sure that they're still making money.
Are they?
First-hand evidence, I believe they are.
Okay, so you left a little for them. But no, yeah, while we were gone, interviewed Mayor Stothert. And just to sum up a couple things about last week, if you missed it, we talked about the Duo, which is the project to renovate the Twin Towers downtown, Central Park Plaza Towers, if you will. Really cool project there. And then she dropped a few interesting pieces of news. One of the things she said, because I asked her about the site where the old Union Pacific headquarters stood before it was turned down after the new one opened and torn down before the new one opened in 2004. And she said, because I had said, hey, is there going to be a request for proposal for developers there? And she said, probably not anytime soon, because they might use it as a laydown yard, staging area to handle streetcar construction, which will go on for a couple of years. So in some ways, that was a little bit disappointing, because I think a lot of us have been thinking, oh, hey, maybe there's going to be something happening there. And for those of you who don't remember, that was owned by a private developer that is doing the Mutual of Omaha Tower, and the city of Omaha owned the old W. Dale Clark Library site. Well, that developer in Mutual of Omaha wanted to build on the library site, so the city and the developer, they did a swap. And so now the city is the owner of that old UP site. So that was cool. And then the other thing, well, she said
It's been 20 years since that was torn down.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Holy
it was not quite, because the UP new headquarters opened in 2004, and I think there were a couple of years that went by before they tore it down, but it's been a long time, because that's where the Wall Street Tower was going to go. Remember that?
Absolutely. I can't sit here. We were.
And that was going to be a 32-story building, and unfortunately it fell through.
Well, and she talked about waiting to get a building of size.
Yeah.
You know, she wants to see 15 stories plus, which makes a lot of sense.
I would like to see 40 stories plus there myself, but I'm not sure it's going to happen.
How many stories is the Mutual Tower?
44.
44, but it'll be taller than the 44, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like the First National building is 45, but the Mutual building will be quite a bit taller, even though it's one story less. But
more headroom.
There you go. The other thing I thought was fun that she mentioned last week, she said there are many more development announcements to come. In fact, she was also quoted by one of the TV stations this week saying, "You ain't seen nothing yet," because apparently, and you and I are hearing this, that there are a lot of things in the queue right now. It could be kind of a fun year to be doing the Grow Omaha show.
It always is a fun year, and Jeff and I were just checking out. It's been 1,054 weeks since our start on January 10th, 2004. So there's a few Husker games in there, but I think that definitely probably about 1,025.
And the reason we know that is Trenton has been keeping tick tally marks on the wall of his house ever since the first show.
Next to my height, and I haven't grown very much in the last 20 years.
Neither have I.
At least vertically.
With that, let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. Eagle Mortgage is run by Holly Schneiderwind and her team from their office near 114th and Davenport. They've been at it for about 30 years, and they just do an outstanding job. And remember, buying a house is one of the most stressful things that people do. And one of the ways to make it easier and less stressful is to have a great mortgage broker. That's where Eagle comes in. They are not a bank, so they can shop the banks and find the best loan option for you, the best lending solution for you. They represent a lot of different banks. They represent you, and they do a good job of mixing and matching and getting people together with the right lender. And meanwhile, while they're doing it, you get really good service. They ask questions. They explain the situation. And they're just good to work with. Good people. Trent and I have been working with them for a long time. They've been a sponsor on this show for about 8 years now. And we've had countless Grow Omaha listeners tell us, oh, the people at Eagle Mortgage treated us great. So if you want to find out more, go to eaglemortgagecompany.com. Trenton, let's go into our news items of the week. The first one is a construction update on the Baby Bob Bridge.
Baby Bob.
Well, my Baby Bob. So this is the connector that will carry people to and from the Bob Carey pedestrian bridge to North Downtown. It will land on 10th Street, or just east of 10th Street, if you will, after crossing the railroad tracks and Riverfront Drive, north of the CHI Health Center Omaha. So as the mayor said last week, you'll be able to walk from Iowa to the baseball stadium and back and forth. The news, though, is that horizontal steel girders are in place. So if you drive under the bridge on Riverfront Drive, there's now a horizontal girders above you. I was going to say on top of you, but that sounds weird. But above you, and the bridge is on target from what we can tell to open this fall.
This is different than the Martin Luther King Jr. bridge that goes to CHI Health Center, I think.
Yes.
Are they going to name this, or are they just going to call it the Baby Bob?
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about that, nor have I heard any
call it Junior
announcements on that. You know, my guess is they'll probably name it something eventually someday. Who knows? But yeah, the MLK Bridge was that pedestrian bridge that opened up over 20 years ago.
I vote the Hal Dobb Bridge.
The Hal?
The Hal.
The Hal Dobb. Let's call it the Hal Dobb pedestrian bridge to a pedestrian bridge.
He did a lot. He did a lot for downtown. He really got a lot of this started, so he deserves a lot of credit.
Actually, you bring up an interesting point. Why isn't there something named after Hal in the downtown area with everything he did? Because Mike Fahey, who served after him, has a street named after him. There probably should be something.
And they both served, 2 terms, I think.
Yeah, Hal was 1.5, because he took over that vacant term, and then he won a term after that, if I remember correctly. But they both, they both did a lot. And Hal was the driving force behind the Riverfront, the Lewis and Clark Landing, the CHI Health Center, and so many of those other
Union
projects.
Pacific.
Hal played a big role in convincing First National Bank to build a tower downtown, as opposed to a campus out west. So yeah, we probably ought to name something after Hal down there. You get on that.
Can't wait to see our Facebook page.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So anyway, the Baby Bob coming along very nicely, and if you are a construction nerd, just go take a look at that. It's a really cool project, and a lot of people probably don't get too terribly excited over a bridge being constructed, but I got to tell you that's an important project that will create more activity in North Downtown. Another thing that Mayor Stothert said last week is that we're getting closer to maybe doing some development on Lot B in front of the CHI Center. The bridge can help.
What do you think will be? Do you think it has to go vertical, obviously, but what do you think it's going to be? A parking garage? And city seems like they love parking garages right now.
Well, and the city's making money on these parking garages, which is good. So because we want to integrate these parking garages in and around the development and make them non-intrusive and easy to use, and the city's doing a good job with that lately.
Do you think there'll be more restaurants and?
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I think on Lot B. First of all, and the mayor indicated this last week as well. We got a lot of information out of her. Probably the first step would be to put a garage on Lot D, or part of Lot D north of the convention center, and then Lot B
expansion.
So if you're having folks a hard time picturing this, Lot B is the huge parking lot that's surrounded by the CHI Center, Charles Schwab Field, Hilton Omaha Hotel, and then like that mattress factory to the west.
It's the main
Yeah.
lot.
And so my thought is, and she indicated last week that we would hopefully have a third convention level hotel that would be put on the southeast corner of that lot. And so my assumption along with that would be, what would you expect downtown? Probably apartments up top with some retail entertainment business is on the ground level. My hope is that they go for an Omni hotel. I've spoken at several Omni hotels in the last 5 years, and those are they're nice. They're not quite as over the top as a Ritz-Carlton, but they're nicer than typically what we have here.
And you need different level of hotels.
Yes.
For these convention goers.
And so, yeah, we'll keep our eye on that. That'll be kind of interesting to see how that all plays out. All right, the next news item on the docket, University of Nebraska Medical Center, Nebraska Medicine, they have started construction now on the Campus Operations and Research Excellence Project, the core building. This is a 6-story building on the southwest corner of Saddle Creek Road and Farnham Street. The building will have 2 floors for administrative business functions, plus floors for research. And this 6-story building will open in February of 26 if it's on schedule. But that construction has now started. Over the last week or so, there have been crews drilling the holes for pilings that will support the future building. So Med Center construction marches forward.
That's an Omaha Steel Castings site, right?
Well, the steel casting site was a little bit to the southwest of that, where the catalyst is going. This was for years and years and years a surface parking lot, and
definitely an improvement.
It'll kick off a lot more value.
So think about the projects that are going to come to fruition in 26 and 27. The Central Library at 72nd and Dodge, a ton of stuff downtown, the Duo, streetcars 227, right?
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be an epic time for Omaha. 26 through 28. So many cool things are going to open. And Trenton, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because for our next segment, after we come back from our first break of the hour, we're going to do a roundup report of some of those big projects and kind of give you the latest of what's happening with their progress.
River City Roundup?
River City Construction Roundup. Like, we're going to talk about the airport, the Mutual Tower, a couple other big projects that are going on right now. Just give you an update about how they're progressing. That's coming up next. Your news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, is now finito. On with the rest of the show. You're listening to Grow Omaha. It's brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics, right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
You're welcome to that segue.
That's a fine segue you did there.
Waiting for you to explore right now, like 24/7 comedy.
Men don't settle down. We surrender. Women, we never express the emotions we're actually feeling, right? I'm fine with that, but stab you in the neck.
Clips from today's top comedians and the greatest of all time.
Donut hole. If you want a donut, have a donut. Why are you eating the hole?
When you need a laugh, just open the free iHeartRadio app and search comedy.
You can actually change the station.
iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Hello, Grow Omaha fans. This is Krista Gilson, Gym Director for Cheer Athletics Omaha. Do you have an athlete at home that wants to start or improve their tumbling skills? What about taking stunt skills to the next level? We have the best coaches in the region to help you develop those skills. Has your athlete ever considered joining All-Star Cheer? We offer novice, regional, and national co-ed teams that compete with the best teams in the country. Go to caomaha.com and come join the All-Star Cheer revolution. Cheer Athletics, where champions are made.
Quality senior living for you. Visit Echo Hills Assisted Living and Memory Care near 144th and Chandler Road.
All right, so we'll go through the construction roundup. I'm also going to mention I read a bit in the World Herald this morning about apparently Iowa State fans are like just over the moon excited, and downtown has been taken over by
Really? Like kind of like LSU fans for the Colorado
the Cyclones fans right now are like the LSU fans in the summer.
Don't they have to? How many? I wonder if they should do Jello shots at Rocco's or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
What was it, like 30,000?
Maybe they're busy. They're still. It probably takes all that time to make them just for the CWS. Yeah, that was like national viral thing.
Whatever we can do
Contact us at frontier.bank.
The attention given to Omaha during these sporting events. I missed the swim trials.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's all good.
Is it Summer Olympics this year?
Just say customize and save.
Yeah, what, Paris? Customize and save. Olympics in Paris, I think. Yeah, I think they're in Paris this summer.
We're really up on international sports.
You know, like a lot of people are like, oh, I can't take my eyes off the Olympics. I watch it all day, every day when it's on.
I guess I'll just do it.
I maybe see
only pay for what you need at
12 minutes of the Olympics. Not that I dislike it, I just don't ever think.
It takes the Simone Biles and
I'll just watch a YouTube video of
Shaun White and skiing.
Yeah,
they really make you have to pump up these icons.
The
Michael Phelps,
the stars. Yeah,
but to see Michael Phelps win world records and stuff,
cool.
Omaha was amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool. But I just like when it actually gets there, I'll have it on in the background. You know what I mean? I don't really watch it. But what I do is the next day if something big happens, I'll just watch the 30-second clip of. Oh, here we go.
Listen on our free iHeartRadio app for all your music, sports, talk, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good. News.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beal sitting next to Trenton Magid. We are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. Cheer Athletics is the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym. And all-star cheer is a competitive form of cheer that is very athletic. It is very analogous to a lot of the other competitive sports that our youth participate in. And they do such an amazing job of getting these kids in great shape to learn how to compete with dignity and grace, and also learn communication skills, leadership skills. And so we're big fans of cheer athletics. If your kid or grandkid, or you want to recommend it for your nieces or nephews or whatever, are interested in something where they can really excel and become great and outstanding and learn so many life lessons, go to caomaha.com. CA stands for Cheer Athletics, caomaha.com, and you can find out more there.
Keep them off the phone.
That's good advice. Well, I want to give a special shout out to Iowa State fans who apparently have taken over downtown Omaha. I was reading in Omaha.com this morning that they're just there's just hordes of Iowa State fans because they're playing here in March Madness, which is taking place this long weekend at CHI Health Center Omaha. So for all of you ISU fans, Iowa State fans, if you think you're buying enough food, beer, and souvenirs, buy more while you're here.
Absolutely. It reminds me of LSU fans during the College World Series. They would come up here when their team wasn't even playing. But when their team wins and their team's doing excellent, there's nothing like LSU fans during the College World Series.
Well, Trent and I wanted to go over some of the big projects that are happening in the metro area. We do this periodically because they're coming, they're underway, but you want to know how they're coming along. And so we're going to give you a progress check on some of the biggest construction projects in town. And the first one is what will eventually be the most noticeable building in town, the Mutual of Omaha Tower, 14th and Farnham. When it opens in 2026, it'll be the tallest building for quite a long ways in multiple regional states.
Is it still from Denver to Chicago?
Yes. Well, as long as you don't count Minneapolis, because there are taller buildings in Minneapolis.
All right, let's not count Minneapolis.
But if you count Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, South Dakota, Wyoming, all those border states, basically it'll be the tallest building in any state that borders Nebraska except for Colorado.
Excellent.
Good enough for you?
Yep.
Okay, so that building is coming along nicely. So for the first year of construction, when you're dealing with a building that tall, there's an incredible amount of below the surface work. You have to have quite a foundation to support 700 feet of skyscraper. And so for the first year, it's kind of like, okay, what's happening there? What's happening? Well, now it's just been going up fast. And the central shear tower, that's the core where the stairwells and the elevators are. It's the spine of the building. That just raised another level yesterday or the day before. And so now they're working on the 8th story of the sheer tower. So that's coming along nicely. And then the parking garage, the first 12 stories of the building will essentially be parking garage. And that is going up really fast.
So I imagine the reception, the lobby will be grandiose. It'll be between two parking garages.
Yeah, and there'll be, if I understand correctly, there'll be a mini lobby down on the main level. Mm-hmm. But then on like the 12th floor, something like that, there's what they call a sky lobby, and that's going to be the primary lobby. But I don't think the public's going to be in there very much. This is not one of those buildings.
Well, how many times has everybody been into Union Pacific building? If you have a friend and you go to lunch there or something.
Yeah, their cafeteria is not bad, and it is open to the public. Good. Yeah, it is open to the public. But yeah, it's going to be a single purpose building. It's not like it'll be mutual offices and a bunch of other stuff. It's mutual's offices, but anyway, those who do go there, if they're a vendor or a client or what have you, or going for a job interview or whatever, apparently like 11th or 12th floor will be this sky lobby, which sounds pretty cool. So anyway, coming along nicely, looking really good. Now let's go stay downtown, and we're going to go to the Tenaska Center for Arts Engagement. This is the $108 million facility being added to the east side of the Holland Performing Arts Center. And right now, it's getting close to topping out. It's a 3-story building, and the steel is primarily on the 3rd level. Impressive-looking tower crane right there. Project's coming along nicely.
It sounds like that's kind of going to be like the college-level version of the what is it? The Omaha Conservatory of Music, like with a lot of kids. I hadn't
really thought of it that way.
A lot of kids are over there and stuff, and I don't know exactly what their scope and use are, but getting these facilities and encouraging youth and people to stay in the arts is really cool.
Well, I can tell you, Trenton, I can answer that question for you of what the scope and purpose of it is. The center will offer additional rehearsal, workshop, and classroom space to accommodate Omaha Performing Arts, expanding education and community engagement programs, which already serve more than 100,000 students, teachers, and community members per year.
So it sounds more like theater as opposed to music.
I don't know, but perhaps. Okay, next big project, Eppley Airfield. You got to see that firsthand when you went through the airport a few days ago.
That is so cool.
Tell us what you saw.
So this is the hat on top of the drive-through lanes that we used to drop people off and pick them up. But it's several stories high, but it's just like a giant erector set, and then they'll put the cap on it. But they're making
glass roof.
Yeah, they're making great progress.
In addition to that project, though, they have already started working on the terminal expansion and modernization project. What they've done with that so far is tear out a lot of concrete to make way for building. So there's a little area on the north side of the main terminal where they've torn out some concrete there. And then they've torn out a great deal of it kind of to the east of the main terminal, a little bit to the south, really close to the skywalk that takes you to the south satellite where the American and the Delta gates are. And so that's coming along fast. And that total airport project is not going to be completed until 2028, which seems like a long time. But because they're phasing this project, we'll actually be using the new terminal maybe in just a couple of years, or at least parts of it. So you don't have to wait till 2028. Actually, in 2026, if I understand the process correctly, you'll actually be using part of the new terminal.
Are they keeping any of the current gates?
Yes. The south satellite will be the south cap of the long concourse, but the north satellite will be completely demolished.
Okay.
And then they're almost doubling the amount of square footage in the terminal, and the airport executive director Dave Roth said when this was announced back in January, there's probably not a square foot of the existing terminal that won't be rebuilt or renovated.
What I think is really cool is for all the people that have heard about this and you're nervous about following the signs or whatever, they made it really easy, and you just have to watch the signs and dropping people off or picking people up. You're undercover. You're on the the west side of the south parking garage, and they make it seamless. Ride share, or just people picking their friends up. It's really nice.
Yeah, Airport Authority does a great job. We're fortunate to have such a good Omaha Airport Authority taking care of things down at Epley. The last big project we're going to highlight this segment is the Omaha Public Library's new flagship Central Library. This is the $150 million project, southwest corner of 72nd and Dodge. There was kind of a pre-topping out ceremony. Now, topping out is when you put the final steel beam into place, and a lot of the key people will sign their names on it. They did the beam signing this week. I get the impression there's still a little more structural steel to go, but it's close. They did the beam signing, so that's a good sign. This building will be 96,000 square feet when it's done in 2026. There's another one, and it'll be quite the architectural landmark.
It looks so cool right now. And still, did you talk to the mayor at all about Swanson Library, 90th and Dodge?
I can't remember if that came up or not last week.
That really hasn't come up in the conversation very much.
Yeah, basically, folks, what he's saying is when this thing opens, will there be a Swanson Library? I don't think that has been said one way or the other, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Well, and I've said this before on here, but you'd think that'd be a great opportunity for someone to go in and make a modern Swanson Towers, which is on 84th Street, but a modern version of that, condos.
Or even just apartments.
Maybe it's 15 stories or something like that. And it'd be a great way for the city to recoup some of the funds that they use on other projects.
I'm sure it would go for a premium price. All right, we're going to take our middle of the show break for the news. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about a couple of different things about Omaha growth and development. And we'll even talk about the National Association of Realtors settlement briefly. Don't worry, we're not going to get all legalese on you. And we'll talk about Omaha's custom Monopoly game, talking that and more, not to mention the Noddle Company's commercial real estate development spotlight. So stay with us. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Everyone says they like working with a local company. Then it comes time to get that home loan. Just the biggest investment.
It's an Eagle Mortgage ad.
It's Bruce Simon's heavenly birthday.
Just don't. Contact
How long are you working at the mall?
fun and professional staff right here in Omaha at
Your
Eagle
clear purse.
Mortgage for your mortgage or refinance, and let them beat the national
It's because I can bring it. It's because I can bring it and carry on luggage at the airport.
It's
a carry-all.
It's a purse.
About selling your business?
Purse.
The first step
I go
is
through
to
the
figure out
airport a
what
lot.
you're worth. Get a free valuation from the guys who have sold more businesses for more money.
Remember the girls used to work at the mall? They
Call
don't know
Sunbelt
this.
Business
glad I'm
Brokers
prepared.
at 402
What?
You should be glad I'm prepared.
You are prepared.
Now that's speaking the
You have a tourniquet in there? In case I sever my arm or something?
I have a power cord. I can use that. Power cord for my computer. I could use that as your tourniquet.
I told you how I had lunch with Colby and he saved a woman's life during lunch because Bev Ellis set him the first date. I didn't tell you this.
When did this occur?
So, an old property manager of ours, Colby Rinker, who's now an attorney at Union Pacific.
Good job, Colby.
I had lunch with him, and there's these four ladies sitting next to us at Timber, kind of by the window, and we're having our lunch, and also we hear this older lady choking, and her friends are just kind of staring at her and everything, and very calmly, Colby stands up, and he says, raise your arms above your head and breathe through your nose. And he's just kind of patting her on the back and, very calmly, very smoothly. There's no Heimlich maneuver or anything. And it worked. And we sit back down like nothing happened. And I'm like, how did you know that? Because, well, you sent me to CPR training, and our friend Dave, our large friend Dave, was his partner.
Yeah.
He was a great guy, very large. And they had to figure out different ways to help cure somebody that big.
Because if someone's real big, you can't do Heimlich.
So he gave me credit for it, and I just owned the company at the time, World Group. And
So basically, you paid the thing that made it possible to save this woman's life. That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. And Timber gave us a free dessert.
So I was at Charleston's a couple of years ago for a business lunch, and the booth right next to us, a guy had to do a Heimlich maneuver on another guy.
Really?
Yeah, we were just sitting there, and then all of a sudden, like, we saw this commotion. I saw this commotion out of the corner of my eye. I had to look over, and this one guy runs over there, grabs him, he says, "Dude, does the full Heimlich," and goes flying across. He totally. I mean, no one else had much of an appetite afterwards because it was not because of the food that came out. It's just kind of upsetting, and it's kind of. At that point in time, you don't really feel like having lunch.
And that lady just sat down and finished her meal.
Dramatic.
It's weird when those people that just almost died, they're like, just keep eating. Like, okay. She's like, well, I got this guy here. But it was.
What are you going to do? It's like, yeah, I mean. But it's also probably kind of, if you're the victim, you feel a little self-conscious. You're like, I think we're just going to leave now. Everyone's staring at me.
But then, like, the next day, Dave and Colby went to lunch. And ironically, Colby started to choke. And Dave just sat there. He froze up.
I think he's making this up.
True. True. So every time they went to lunch after that, he would tell the.
Well, this was back when they did that.
He would tell the server after they did the course.
Okay.
He tells her, "You see this guy here? If I start to choke, get someone to help me because he's not going to do it."
Dave, if you're listening, sorry to disparage you.
We didn't use your last name.
But you know who you are, Dave.
Cloudy today with a high of 41.
Those who know Dave are going to make sure Dave watches this now.
30% chance of rain overnight.
I was just so impressed.
Rain with a high of 52. Sunday night, rain and possibly thunderstorms.
That's funny.
Monday, rain light
heard about
with
that
possible
device?
thunderstorm. And Monday night,
like a pump.
50% chance of
Yes.
snow.
Yes.
Look at your
Pull and
forecast.
it
I'm Ben
sucks
Brown.
whatever it is right
Hello,
out.
Grow Omaha fans.
Really?
Yeah.
This is Krista.
I would just use a toilet plunger and see if that works.
The problem is
The other way. I'm just going to push it down.
if you're at Charleston's having lunch, you probably don't have that device or a toilet plunger right at the ready.
It works so well. I'm surprised more restaurants just don't have that in their arsenal too.
Just like how they always have the defibrillator, they just have that as maybe they do it. Maybe someone do it.
I'd bet some. I don't think it's caught on quite yet, but I've heard some stories.
What do they call it? Throat sucker?
Where champions are made.
It's life back. Something like
I think
that.
you're right. Yeah.
Life back?
It's like you're not far off.
It's not throat sucker.
Something along those
Throat
lines.
back.
Pretty much. Throat plunger.
I mean, it's like they don't have like a plastic snake to go down like.
But I mean, in all honesty, you guys, it's like there are a number of people across the country that die from choking every year. I mean, it kills people.
A very prominent citizen that we know had that happen in a steak restaurant.
Yep.
Did you know
Thank
one
God
of
he
the best
survived.
investments you can make?
My mom was
It's
prone to
yourself.
choking and not chewing her meat.
Was because she would eat too fast?
And she just wouldn't cut it up.
Oh, the pieces.
And it was raw, so it was like how to.
Well, she did like her meat rare, but when you get older, you have to eat smaller bites.
Yeah.
You have to when you seriously because you don't swallow as well as you get older.
Maybe they should. What do they call those? They advertise everywhere the portable mixer for those drinks.
The
blend jet.
Yeah.
To parade.
Yeah, like, I think everybody over a certain age, you got to have the company would love it. The blend jet to you have a set for like steak, chicken.
So basically, you make
Well, then you put the mashed potatoes, you put whatever else it is. You put like a spoon, either a setting for spoon or straw.
So it's basically it's what astronauts eat because don't astronauts eat pureed food up there? Yeah. And Tang.
At Frontier Bank.
Sugar.
Is it still Tang?
I don't know. When we were kids, remember when we were kids, Chris? Like, Ben, you're so young, you don't even know what Tang is.
I know of it. I haven't had it.
It was this nasty orange drink.
How old are you? Oh, 23.
23, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you still get it?
I have
Great age.
I have clothing older than Ben.
Can you still get it?
I don't know. I've not seen it in years.
What's that, Tang?
Tang. It's kind of like Kool-Aid, right?
It's just sugar.
It's the same thing, but no offense to the Tang
What's that horrible
advertisers,
orange
but I thought it
juice?
was awful.
That orange drink that people get and they call it orange juice, but it's Sunny Delight or something.
Sunny D.
They still make that?
In Nebraska. 1 in 3 young people.
I don't drink anything. I don't drink any beverage that has
There's a mentor in
added
all
sugar
of us.
anymore.
Take the
Is it
first
just-
step to become a mentor.
I like it at Hy-Vee.
It's too hard. It's too hard not to be fat just eating regular food. If I throw that type of stuff down the system,
I always drink. What's that ice drink I always have?
Hey, Beals, what do I drink?
They have a knockoff
Found out
version.
Omaha's getting its own edition of Monopoly. What should go in the game? We talked all about it. You can find the entire conversation on the Emery Soccer podcast page at KFAB.com.
Thanks for scooping our story, Emery. We're going to talk about the Monopoly thing here in just a moment. But first of all, welcome back to the show. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center along with Cheer Athletics. Dingman's has 4 metro area locations, and they're famous for their body work, and they often win that Best of Omaha award for best collision center, auto body paint repair shop. One of their locations even does full-blown mechanical services. But Dingman's been in business for a long time, all the way back since 1996. Family-owned and operated. Super high quality. The craftsmanship when you bring your car in there is second to none. And then the service is great. They communicate with you. They explain the situation, and they do all of it very timely and very fairly when it comes to pricing. So Dingman's Collision Center, sponsor of the Grow Omaha show. It's time for your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, and it is brought to you, as it always is, by Noddle Companies. You've heard of Noddle Companies. They're famous for building some of Omaha's nicest stuff. So you could think of them as a headquarters builder, because they're responsible for that Valmont headquarters near 150th and West Dodge Road. They're responsible for the beautiful HDR headquarters building in Exarban Village and many, many others. Or you could think of Noddle Companies as a placemaker, because they've made many places like the Builders District downtown, Exarban Village, and so many other cool mixed-use developments. So Noddle Companies does a great job with that. And on this day's Noddle Companies Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight, Trenton, what do we have?
Well, before I say that, they also, back in the day, did First National Business Park on West Dodge. And at the time, it was Commercial Federal Business Park, which has changed hands a couple times, and now is the, what do you call it?
BMO?
BMO Harris?
Yeah. I think it's called by BMO.
BMO Development.
BMO.
So it's that time of year where the birds are singing again, and the weeds are sprouting, and some flowers too as well.
Flowers.
And plants. And Sonny's, the Airstream trailer that has food and drink at the park at Exarban Village, it's their 4th year, and Sam Noddle is in charge of basically what happens at Exarban Village, from the inner rail to the restaurant scene, the retail scene, and he's very excited about the Airstream trailer opening up soon, and we're going to see some more surprises. So check out Exarban Village, 67th from Center basically to Pacific, and there's going to be a lot of programming this year, so I'm excited for that.
I'm getting excited for that new pizza place that's going to replace Pops in the inner rail. Can't wait for that to open up as well. And that is your Noddle Companies Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the week. And we now are going to share a few other little news items with you. First of all, Omaha is getting its own Monopoly game. You've seen these before. Sometimes universities, states, there are several other cities have their own special limited edition version of the Monopoly game. So instead of landing on Boardwalk or Baltic, whatever, I haven't played Monopoly in a long time, you might land on Joslyn Castle or
that sounds painful.
Something could be. And so right now the game makers, Hasbro, I believe it is, are taking suggestions from the public. And so be thinking, I think you can do this until about May or something like that. We'll put it on the Grow Omaha newsletter next week. But you got to be thinking about what you want to see on the Omaha Monopoly board. Trenton, what's an attraction you want on there?
Take the streetcar. I think even though it's a couple years away, I think people should be able to take the streetcar and advance 5 spaces.
Okay, but in all seriousness, as far as places, like Henry Doorly Zoo would probably have to be one of them.
Right.
What would you have, like the Westroads or Village Point or something like that?
I could see that.
The Jean Leahy Mall.
It'd be fun to have some long-serving restaurants or like Brother Sebastian's or something like that.
You land on Cassio's, and if you own Cassio's, you get to charge people rent for landing on Cassio's or something like that.
Meet Warren Buffett.
The Blackstone Plaza building where Warren has his office.
Yeah.
Yeah, get charged by landing on Uncle Warren's building or something like that.
Tased by his security. Lose 2 turns.
Speaking of that, we had a news item in the Grow Omaha newsletter business news section this week. It's kind of interesting. Berkshire Hathaway spent $313,000 last year to cover Warren Buffett's personal and home security. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but according to Fortune magazine, for a little bit of perspective, while Warren's security cost Berkshire just over $300,000, Meta Platforms paid $13 million more than that to secure Mark Zuckerberg.
Those guys, between him and Elon Musk, they must have armies.
My guess is Zuckerberg probably goes clubbing more than Warren does, or maybe some other things like that.
You go to like 4 different places with Warren.
Yeah, home, office, McDonald's, and Dairy Queen. So we want to congratulate. Maybe it's a premature congratulations, but we're going to do it nonetheless. UNMC Chancellor Jeffrey Gold has been named the priority candidate to become president of the University of Nebraska system. He would replace Ted Carter, who is now the president of Ohio State University. And so there's a 30-day kind of public vetting period is what it's referred to. And then after that's done, Dr. Gold will presumably and very likely become the permanent official president of the university system.
And I want to give a shout out to Chris Kaburk, who is or was the interim president.
Still is.
And he's the CFO too, I think. But what a neat guy. And he was out there and he's like, we're not gonna sit on our hands. We're gonna advance our mission. And so I hope he gets a promotion, or maybe he takes the chancellor position. I don't know, but Chris Kaburk, thank you for being a great caretaker of the university system, and I'm sure he'll do great things with Nebraska.
During the high school basketball championships in Lincoln a couple weeks ago, he was a ref. An official during those. It sounds like a cool guy. But you mentioned the chancellor of UNMC. One of Dr. Gold's responsibilities will be to replace himself at UNMC, and that'll be very important for Omaha growth and development. Under Jeff Gold's leadership, UNMC's campus has done fantastically well. I mean, the research has grown, the academic mission has grown, and the construction and expansion has been awesome. We reported earlier that the core building, 6-story building at Farnham and Saddle Creek, is now underway, the construction. We expect construction to start on the $2 billion new hospital on the other corner of Saddle Creek and Farnham this year.
That's Homeland Security.
Well, we don't know for 100% certain if the Homeland Security thing's going to happen. I know they're working on it.
This is different?
This is just the hospital component of it. So, yeah, the Med Center needs a new, updated, basic, traditional med-surg hospital. And that's the $2 billion project that will go on the southeast corner of Saddle Creek and Farnham. And then if everything goes well with the federal government, I think Homeland Security, Department of Defense, maybe some other agencies are involved, if I remember correctly. That might be a little bit further east, and they would have to take down some, maybe like one of those doctor's office buildings.
When we started this show 20 years ago, $1 billion was a lot of money.
It's still not chump change.
Yeah.
But your point's very well taken. And for perspective, for Omahans that have been around a while, you'll remember the ConAgra campus that involved the tearing down of Jobbers Canyon, which turned out to be a critical mistake, and the building of the lake and then the 5 ConAgra buildings. That whole project in about 1989-ish was $60 million. Now an expansion, a 3-story expansion to the Holland Center is $108 million.
Well, and 700 apartments retrofitting those 2 towers, Central Park Plaza, the duo, 163.
And with that, we're going to take our final break of the hour. You are listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. We'll be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
I lost track of time on that. We're going to be real tight. How much time will we have when we come back?
Tune into our sister station 93.3 The Wolf on the free iHeartRadio app.
okay. We'll fly through it then. Because I got about 30 minutes for PC construction. I have 30 seconds for PC construction. Then we'll have like a minute and a half of content.
Yes.
Okay.
What's your last name?
Fly through it.
Ray. R-A-Y. Sweet. Are you in a club that can put your entire name on your license plate? This should be a club.
6 letters, yeah, I think I could.
You could.
Yes.
Ben Ray.
Are you Benjamin?
Yeah.
That would actually be a kind of a cool license plate. Ben Ray.
Yeah. People would recognize me everywhere, though.
Yeah. You could
like,
cut
that's
anyone
that jerk
off.
that cut me off.
Yeah.
I get that all the time.
Yeah. Well, you when you're out on the road, you tend to stand out.
Yes.
Not just because of the way you drive.
A monoply license plate.
Everyone says they like
Couldn't afford
working
two
with a
Yeah.
local company. Then it comes time to get that home loan, just the biggest.
I'm definitely getting another car with
most of us
2-ply on
ever
it.
make, and then
You got it.
playing with
So that's what your next car's license plate's going to be?
Will that be a used car? 2-ply?
Yeah, I should just have it on there when she gets back.
That would go over great.
Mortgage or refinance and let them beat the national lenders
She
on
would
rates
love that.
and service. Eagle Mortgage online at
In fact, pick her up in there at the airport in her car.
number 2376.
Why are people saying Hugh yeah to Jackson Hewitt? When you switch to Jackson Hewitt, they will beat what you paid last year on tax prep. Even if you filed
So you
online,
probably
proof
actually
of
tell them
prior
what you're
year
talking
payment
about.
required
You
for
probably
filing. New clients
What?
only at
Like
participating
it's referring
locations
to
3 and 7.
monoply, the
Terms at
people don't know what you're talking
jacksonhewitt.com.
Oh, my license plate is supposed to be Monopoly, which most people look at it as Monopoly, but you can only have 7 letters in 8 spaces. So it says Monoply, and somebody probably in their parents' basement on Nebraska Car Spotters Facebook page took a picture of my car and said Monoply with a dash. I bet you this guy can afford 2-ply. Thank you. That's gonna afford.
We're back.
Governor Fillon's tax plan made it through one major hurdle. What's next? The governor joins us. It's all part of KFAV's Morning News, Monday.
And we finish with your Perkins Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things in a short period of time. Perkins Kreitzer Construction is a full-service Class A general contractor. They're based here in Omaha, do a lot of stuff in Omaha, but they'll do things in Lincoln, Council Bluffs, Grand Island, Norfolk, Kearney, North Platte, Sioux City, all around the region. Now, PC Construction might be a newer company, but they're very experienced with a team of project managers, administrators, superintendents, carpenters, laborers, many of them with over 30 years experience. PC Construction, they do healthcare retail work. They're renovating that Miracle Hills retail center near 114th and Dodge right now. And we thank Perkins Kreitzer Construction for being a key sponsor of Grow Omaha and making the lightning round possible. A lot of stuff here to cover really fast. Ude Lali has opened at 49th and Underwood in Dundee. This is the former Mark's Bistro space. The nonprofit restaurant offers former prison inmates an opportunity to train for food service jobs. You were going to say something?
No, so it's a not-for-profit, but people pay. There's menu prices. I assume that it's not one of those like you pay what you feel you can pay.
No. I think it's regular. It's just that the restaurant has a mission.
Okay.
So the former Noli's Pizzeria space in Gretna is now Quality Thai Restaurant. Not the most exciting and creative name in the world, but I drove by. It looks like a good place. So Quality Thai Restaurant is now open in Gretna. Insomnia Cookies plans to open its first Omaha store in downtown's Capital District on March 30th. Stopped by about a week ago while they were working on the space, and we asked them, and they said March 30th. Philadelphia-based chain has more than 240 locations, a lot of them in college towns.
You know they're up working.
That's true. Nebraska's first Hawaiian Brothers Island Grill officially opened this past Monday. Initial reviews, quite positive.
Yep. Congratulations to the Hodges. They are the same people that brought us Williamsburg pizza.
There's a company, looks like a local company, is going to open a coffee shop called Pucker's. It's a P. I got to be careful. Pucker's Coffee Shop at 3610 Dodge Street, north side of 36th and Dodge.
Pucker up.
Fairway plans to open a 21,000 square foot store in Valley at 270th and Miggs Street. Construction could begin sometime later this year. They have 6 existing metro area locations.
That's awesome.
The fairway is out of Boone, Iowa. Congratulations to the Henry Dorley Zoo, #1 zoo for the second year in a row, according to the USA Today Reader's Choice Awards. But that's not all. The Wildlife Safari in Ashland, which is part of Henry Dorley Zoo, was named #1 safari in America. And the zoo's Desert Dome was named the #1 exhibit in America. So the zoo keeps racking up accolades that are well-deserved.
I voted when I could, several times.
I did. I think I voted once. I figured I did my duty, but you voted more than once.
Their campaign was strong. It kept popping up.
So you're kind of like a Chicago guy. You vote early and often.
But I was legal this time.
We want to mention a little piece of good news here. Nebraska is the 4th least stressed out state in America. So if you are stressed out, you're not very Nebraskan-ish, because Nebraska is the 4th least stressed out place, which is I guess, a good thing. So we're going to wind up with a little bit of basketball talk. Tonight, Creighton Blue Jays take on Oregon in the second round of March Madness. And this, for those of you who are Creighton fans, will be interesting because it's the former Creighton coach, Dana Altman.
8:40?
8:40 p.m. tonight. And that's your show. The music is playing, and so we're done. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Appreciate you joining us. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Magid.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, Cheer Athletics, and Perkins Kreitzer Construction on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
That's where.
Bum, bum, bum.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.